Hello, hello. Welcome back to Ghost Tracks Podcast. My name is Tina. I am your host. I'm so excited to be back here. I revamped my space behind me, which you guys can barely see in some of these clips. I don't do full video right now, but in the future, it's a goal that I have set for myself for this podcast. Just know that the vibe is right over here. I got some spooky stuff, some real cute spooky stuff. Got myself looking a little cute and spooky today, so I'm vibing, I'm liking it. The remodel for the area is coming along. We're going to get started with today's episode. I'm really excited about this episode. It was a first pick for me when I decided to do more lighthearted episodes. We're doing love theme. Hearts and sparkles over here this month, guys. Or, well, at least until maybe Valentine's Day. I haven't really decided what I'm doing for the rest of the month. Maybe I'll get real creepy at the end of the month. There's no telling. It's my episodes, and I'll do what I want to do with them. So, but what better way to be in the spirit of love and hearts and googly eyes than to talk about a ghost story of two people that loved each other in life, and they continue to love each other in the afterlife. So where are we going to go today, guys? Well, I'll tell you. Okay. And I just had this thought. It just dawned on me that the name of this hotel, okay, I'll carry on and then I'll say what I was going to say. Sorry. Okay. So we're going to go to St. Pete Beach, Florida, to the Don Cesar Hotel. And it is also called the Pink Palace. And I don't know about you guys, but when I think about Valentine's Day, it's not usually red. I usually think about pink things. Maybe that's just me because my favorite color is actually pink. But I didn't do that on purpose. So we're doing pink for the color of Valentine's Day and a pink palace by the sea. It's very romantic if you think about it. But we're not going to talk about this gorgeous property a whole lot today. What we're actually going to talk about is the love that built this place. The story that I am here to tell you, the one, again, this was a top pick when I thought about doing Valentine's Day themed. I was like, okay, we've got to come up with some love ghost stories. How the hell am I going to do that? Well, I'll tell you how I'm going to do that. I'm going to tell this story because this is all I got. This story is the story of Thomas Rowe and Lucinda. And again, first pick, I was so excited to do this. I got right on to the Insta-Googling and got my information and got this all laid out for us today. It's not going to be a super long episode. I probably could have gone into a little more detail, but, we keep it short and sweet around here. At least I try, because I will ramble on till the ends of time if I let myself. The story of Thomas and Lucinda does come with a great deal of speculation surrounding its validity. I think there was talk of this being a publicity stunt for the hotel. Very well could be. We've seen weirder things happen. Everybody loves a good ghost story. But in the February mindset of true love, even ghostly love, I am going to say that this is true because I know I have talked to the ghost, okay? I have gone there, I have done it, I have had my seance, and it was confirmed. My goodness, guys. Anyway, I am of the mindset that love like this does transcend time and space. Even if all of the details might not be 100%, I obviously do not sit around and dictate my life minute by minute. I'm not on the computer writing down every single thing that I did every day, and I don't think anyone has ever done that. There is a lot that gets lost in the passage of time, and I'm okay with that. So even if Thomas and Lucinda's story isn't exactly as I tell it today, I am choosing to believe these two people did find such an incredible love within one another that not even death could keep them apart. So let's get into it, shall we? Thomas Rowe was an Irish immigrant who came to the Americas in the early 1920s. Prior to his arrival in America, he was in England pursuing an education in architecture. I believe he also did some business stuff, but I believe his primary focus was architecture. And he was said to favor the opera, and his favorite opera was Maritana, which is where he met Lucinda, who was a Spanish opera star and the female lead in the opera Maritana. And he rolled up into that opera and said, "Ooh la la, I want one of them." And he got it. So the Maritana opera was centered around vengeance and love during the reign of Charles II, and everyone loves a good vengeance story when it also encompasses a love story. Originally, the story was a play and later transformed into an opera, which premiered in 1872. That is some way back times, guys. In the opera, King Charles II fell in love with Maritana, which was a problem since, he was already married to the queen and everything. Womp, womp, womp. Don Jose, the minister of the king, had encouraged the love affair. Not very minister-like behavior, if I can just say that. But he had encouraged the love affair in the hopes of being able to use the knowledge of the love affair to gain favor with the queen. Again, not very minister-like behavior. Furthermore, Don Jose also planned to marry Maritana off to Don Cesar, who was a condemned nobleman awaiting execution. So this guy just be scheming all over the place. Had the marriage and subsequent execution of Don Cesar actually happened, Maritana would have been a nobleman's widow, which would have made the affair between King Charles II and Maritana that much more scandalous. And these kings and queens did not like scandal like we do today, guys, but the drama that these people wrote back in the day. Anyway, Don Cesar was able to thwart Don Jose's plan. There's a lot of Dons in the story, too, so I apologize if I'm stumbling over them. And he was given grace by the king. His death sentence was revoked, and he was given governorship in Granada and lived happily ever after with Maritana. So even though he was, supposed to enter into the sham marriage, they actually did fall in love, did the damn thing, got married, lived forever in each other's arms until death. But why am I telling you about the play Maritana? Well, I am telling you this because the night that Thomas Rowe saw Lucinda playing Maritana in the play, they fell in love. Love. During their courtship, they referred to one another as Don Cesar and Maritana. I'm just going to go ahead and say, look, I've had some relationships in my day. I'm married right now. I have an ex-husband. I was in a very serious relationship in high school and just out of high school. And never one of these motherfuckers ever done some sweet shit like this. We're going to have words. Me and my husband are going to have words. Many of Thomas and Lucinda's meetings happened by a fountain in England where they made their plans to elope and live in a pink castle by the sea. Do we see where we're going here, guys? Are we connecting dots? However, it was Lucinda's parents who intervened, and on the day that they were said to elope and leave for America, Lucinda was hidden away from Thomas, leaving him with no choice but to leave for America alone. The heartbreak. When he first arrived in America, he wrote to Lucinda, very notebook-esque. But all correspondence were sent back unopened. Throughout the years, Thomas gained wealth and notoriety, but he never forgot his first love. I mean, me either. Though he married another woman, when he relocated to Florida, he purchased 80 acres of land along the shore. He sought to build the castle he and Lucinda dreamed of all those years before. The land Thomas purchased were divided into smaller plots and sold off, creating a small town. Throughout the area, streets were named after characters and places in Maritana, the opera. And see, this is why I'm just gonna roll with saying that this is not untrue. Because that's a whole lot of workaround for a hotel to come up with this. It's true, guys. We're just gonna go with it. And surrounded by the town, the center, was the pink castle by the sea, to be named the Don Cesar. On the ground floor of the Grand Hotel, in the sunroom, there is a replica of the fountain the two lovers were said to meet at in England and make plans for their future. Plans that unfortunately would never come to be. Over the years, the Don Cesar struggled to stay open. Thomas worked tirelessly to hang on to his dream and the love that he had for the meaning behind the Pink Palace. Hurricanes, prohibition, receivership all threatened to take the hotel away from Rowe, but he maintained his management over the property. And one day, all those years later, a letter arrived simply addressed to Don Cesar. Enclosed in the envelope was a letter from Lucinda. Written on her deathbed to her love, "Time is infinite." This is a quote from the letter. "Time is infinite. I will await for you by our fountain to share our timeless love. Our destiny is time." End quote. But cute tears. On May 5th, 1940, Thomas Rowe passed away in his room in the Don Cesar Hotel. During his final days, Rowe attempted to leave the hotel to his staff in his will. Unfortunately, the doctors caring for Rowe stated that he was not competent enough to make an informed decision given his state, and upon his passing, the Don Cesar was left to his estranged wife, Mary. Not cool. After Mary took ownership of the hotel, the business declined, and in 1942, the hotel was sold to the U.S. government, and it was utilized as a hospital for the military stationed in the area, as were most buildings back in the day. These military operations, these hospitals, were just inhabiting the bones of old buildings, kind of like Spirit Halloween does with abandoned buildings today. Maybe not abandoned buildings, but ones that are not currently occupied. They just hop on in there like a poltergeist taking over a whole-ass body. Once the war was over, the Don Cesar was transformed into a VA headquarters until 1969, when the property was declared obsolete and was left to time. But not too much time, because in the 1970s, it was proposed that the hotel be demolished, but a citizens committee was formed, and in 1972, the government sold the property to the city of St. Pete Beach, who then sold it to William Bowman, a hotel entrepreneur. In 1973, after 18 months of reconstruction, the Don Cesar was reopened to the public. Just so no shenanigans would happen with this hotel again, the owner went and got it placed on the National Historic Register in 1975, becoming an official historic landmark. So now it is protected. So what happened to Thomas and Lucinda? During the restorative efforts in the 1970s, when Bowman took over, a white-haired man began to appear to staff and construction workers. Any ideas? No. Often asking after the hotel and what was being done to it. Given the man's appearance and prompt disappearance, some of the workers left the construction efforts. They said, "Don't holla at your boy, I'm outie." Thomas once appeared to a journalist and simply told her, "Do not let her go onto the ledge." Very cryptic there, Thomas. A few days later, the journalist was working with models and photographers for a piece at the hotel, and a model was asked to ascend a ledge on a rooftop, and when the direction was given, the journalist stopped the shoot immediately and had the ledge inspected. She was like, "I think some ghosty be telling me some business about this, and we need to investigate." Hi, it's Tina. I'm just going to jump in really quick. This is Tina from the future. You're hearing a future me. I was doing some editing, and I came across this next section, and I almost cut it out, but I was laughing so hard at myself that I felt like it needed to stay in so that you guys could enjoy what an absolute struggle bus I was driving the day that I was doing this recording, which is obviously still today. I'm doing the recording and editing all at the same time. But guys, I tried so hard to get this episode to be decent, but I was in one funky mood, and I told my friend that I had a hamster on its wheel happening in my brain this whole episode. So I apologize that I was really goofy, crazy, had a lot of side tangents. But enjoy this next little mini clip of me absolutely horrendously struggling to say one sentence for you guys. But again, I chose to leave it in so you guys could laugh at me while I laugh at myself. But I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the episode. Okay, thanks. Bye. It was found that there was loose mortar on the ledge Oh my goodness. It was found that there was loose mortar on the ledge that could have contributed to the model falling and had proceeded with... Am I having a stroke? What's wrong with... It was found that there was loose mortar on the ledge that could have contributed to the model falling had she proceeded with the shoot. There are many other stories of an apparition that resemble Thomas Rowe walking about the hotel and helping staff and guests. It seems like he stayed even after death to protect his home. Look, this man's built this place for his first true love. Seems like his only true love since his wife and him ended up estranged. And he was not about to let dying in that place mean that he could not oversee the caretaking of the Pink Palace. So many people have also reported seeing a man and a woman in period clothing embracing by the fountain in the sun. Could this be a trick of the eye, or could this be Thomas and Lucinda living out their timeless love in the Pink Castle by the sea? What y'all think? I think it's a timeless love. I think we're going to cue some 80s romance music right now. That's what I'm thinking. I know this wasn't a super long episode, and I'm kind of in a weird, goofy mood, and this took me about 85,000 times to record because I could not get my shit together, guys. Like, I just couldn't do it. I tried. So this might not be my best episode, and I apologize for that, but I am trying. But we're in a weird headspace today, and that's all I got. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you have a ghostly love story that you want to share with me for the month of February, our next episode will be listener stories, and I would absolutely love to have some lovely ghost stories to tell. Maybe you have a visitation from family. Maybe you have a visitation from your dog or your cat, or your mouse or your bird, or whatever that you had as a pet that just loved you so much it couldn't leave you after it passed over the rainbow bridge. That counts, guys. I'm here for all of the stories. So you can send it in to ghosttrackspodcast@gmail.com. You can put listener story, you can put ghost story, put whatever you want in the title, because I don't have a whole lot of mail that comes to that email right now. So I'm going to read it all. Remember to like and follow and share the show with all of your creepy people. Leave me a review. That's also an option. But I'm just going to say lead with kindness because, again, I am new here. Okay, and I am trying my best. And there's no need to be nasty. We got enough of that out there in the world. All of those things are super duper helpful for a growing baby podcast and even a grown-up podcast. I hope you guys have an amazing day and an amazing Valentine's Day, full of love and support from everybody that is in your life. And until next time, stay creepy. Bye.